Here in America, we live with the notion of being number one. Number one in innovation. Number one in defense. But on the educational front, we've fallen behind.
Education is the most crucial factor in determining success. But education in America seems to have taken a backseat. We've fallen so far behind that we are now unable to compete with other countries on the world stage.
We now are no longer the country as we were after World War II. We have a number of industrialized nations around the world that have passed us.
So then, what's different about education in America?
We tend to educate every single person in America, where there's a lot of countries that will not. They're only going to educate the elite, so to speak.
Okay, so we're fair to everyone. But that can't explain why we rank 25th out of the 30 most developed nations. Former DC Public Schools Chancellor Michelle Rhee came up with a simple solution.
Take the lowest performing 6 to 10% of teachers in this country, move them out of education, and replace them just with an average teacher. Not the best, just average teachers. We could literally propel ourselves from the bottom where we are to the top, where Finland is.
But the issue, I'm afraid, is a bit more complex. Let's start at the top. The federal government enacts laws that affect every sector of public education, as well as the 49.4 million students currently enrolled in our public education system. One example of legislation passed is Race to the Top, which is Obama's revolutionary program in which states come up with a plan to bolster education in their region in exchange for millions of dollars from the federal government.
I think Race to the Top is the first time in my lifetime that I have really seen a sincere effort by the federal government to really involve itself in the education process.
But is funding enough to overcome America's educational deficit? Studies show that spending on schools has more than doubled in the past 3 decades, but increased resources haven't produced better results.
Funding has a huge effect on the employees as well as the students.
But Lee County Superintendent sees it differently.
But I don't look at funding as a reason why we can't do well. I think we can do better with the funding that we have.
Which leads one to wonder, is our government truly using their funds wisely?
People in Congress don't understand education. They understand test results. They want the test results to be higher, so it looks like schools are doing a better job. But they often make policy that has nothing to do with actual education, and they often have not asked any teachers for their input. That's a big mistake.
I think sometimes people that aren't teachers don't know what we go through in the classroom, and so they want to make decisions based on their own opinions or their speculative knowledge. So I think as far as how teachers are treated, there's definitely room for improvement.
And this is where teachers' unions step in.
Teachers' unions are, well, like any union, they're to protect the rights of employees.
They also lobby to Congress.
You do give your advice to politicians?
Oh, all the time.
Corrupt or not, it seems that legislators and teachers' unions have created an educational bureaucracy that is focused on the adults rather than on the students. Education reformer Jeffrey Canada seems to share this opinion.
We've really made sure that we stifled innovation, and this is where the issue comes in with the teachers union.
But Mark Castellano, president of the Island Coast FEA, sees it differently.
And that's not the truth. All we want to do is be part of the process. Allow us to be part of the solution. Don't do things to us. Let us do things with you.
So far we've heard from administrators and teachers. Now let's hear what some students have to say.
Mediocre? Yeah. We definitely improved as in funding for schools, more classrooms since, way back when, but I think the overall standards definitely could be raised.
Personally, my opinion on education in America, we are extremely subpar to where we could be in international standing. We compete with these other countries, and where we're at now, we're working to a better educational system, but definitely got some work to do.
Most of the children at this school, the kids at this school,
I think they don't give two
about education, so that's why they're not getting a good one, because they don't care.
We don't value an education anymore. It's so simplistically easy. People are flunking out of a free education. They don't care. I've been to Haiti. I've been to these places where people would kill for a few more years of just grade school. But we cheat ourselves. We let this go. It's sick.
A lot of parents don't understand the value of education, and because of that, their kids don't understand the value of education.
In order for schools to truly work, our languid attitude towards education must change. Because teachers alone cannot fix this broken system that is education in America.
Because in my mind, for far too long, we have been willing to turn a blind eye to the injustices that are happening to kids in classrooms every day in the name of harmony amongst adults.
The adults, the parents, the families want their students in school and so forth, and they aren't necessarily about what's best for kids. So on many levels, I agree. However, there are other areas in which the students are foremost in everybody's mind, including for most of your teachers every day.
Of course it has to be kid-centered. This isn't about what's good for me or the administrators or the parents. This is what's right for the kids.
Although the issues surrounding education are countless and complex, the federal government has taken steps to bring reform into the classroom.
So you've got an obligation to yourselves, and America has an obligation to you to make sure you're getting the best education possible.
We need great teachers. We need parents who care, but problems in our educational system have brought progress to a halt.
Our failing schools need changes that add up to better futures for our children, not division among the teachers, administrators, and policymakers who are part of the system.
And if this trend of negligence persists, our future will be lost.
People don't understand that the only way that this nation is going to regain its positioning in the global marketplace is if we improve the public education system.
Education has become the civil rights issue of our generation.
These are children, these are all United States children that are involved, and we all should be in this for the United States, for our whole country, not just for our own school district or our own state, but for everybody.
The solution is simple.
And it starts with you.